morning, beautiful people. Good evening and good afternoon to viewers from all walks of life. This is jezebel, and you are welcome to the channel of truth, enlightenment, freedom, and the channel of breaking empaths free. If you are new, on this channel I talk about narcissism and narcissistic abuse, I talk about spirituality, and we talk about personal and self-development. And if any of that resonates with you, I invite you guys to join us. Give us a like, share the video with friends, and you may subscribe if you haven't already. And for those that have always been with us, you are welcome back, and I thank you for your love and support. I apologize for the wind. I know last time I did a video and there was a lot of wind going on, and sometimes it affects my videos, but at the same time I want to use this time because when I go out to ground and connect with nature, so I do three things at the same time. I ground, I feed the birds, then I can also do a video in that same time. You know what I mean? So I try to do as much as I can at the same time. Now, guys, listen very closely. I'm going to talk about the Oscar slap. Now, a lot of you guys have seen the slap that went viral all over the world. You can imagine how somebody slaps somebody and a billion people will see that slap. You know, we'll talk about that slap. Now, people came out and said, yeah, you know, I'll say Mr. X. Normally in my videos, I really don't want to you know, to mention people's names in my videos. You know, I try to keep the names out of the videos. Mr. S slapped somebody. Some people came out, they said, oh, you know, this guy is a narcissist, you know, his masks lived, he said this. There are a lot of people, many different kinds of things. Everybody say what they want to say. And again, everybody has got their own right to their own opinions. You know what I mean? But again, me, myself, as a person who sometimes knows how to look behind the veil, I took my time, I studied that video, I went back previously to a couple of other videos, then I made my conclusion. Now, the only thing what people saw on TV was the slap. So a lot of people, the only thing what you saw, a lot of you guys, was the slap. But when you look behind the veil, you're going to notice actually there is more to that slap, what was happening behind the scenes. You see, some of you guys don't understand. A lot of guys, especially a lot of guys who are not familiar with abuse, with narcissism and all this kind of abuse and things like that, they don't know exactly how the Jezebel operates. If we're talking about the Jezebel, guys, I'll tell you something very important. It doesn't matter how big you are. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter if you're the president of which country. It can be any country. It does not matter what is your position. When it comes to those Jezebels, they will get into your life, they will start breaking you down piece by piece. And they'll bring you down to crap. Now the whole idea is to break down your self-esteem and to break down your identity. You know what I mean? I've been sharing a lot of videos on my channel, and I've been telling you guys, very few people understand how the Jezebel operates. Now, one thing that I want you guys to understand something. I remember in my experience, I always like making videos, and I always like to give you guys references so that you guys understand what I'm talking about. So I remember a time, in those days I was going through the triangulation. Yeah, that was the triangulation time, the period. That was after the, immediately after the discard. So I was going through the triangulation stage. And I remember, immediately after the discard, I think that was after like 2 days later, I found the narcissist with a new supply. So when I found the narcissist with a new supply, I was like, what? In those days, remember guys, in those days I was not yet awakened. So I didn't know anything about narcissism and everything. So I was not awakened, so I didn't know what was going on. I saw the narcissist with a new supply, with a new boyfriend. Let's call it a new boyfriend, because in those days I was thinking that I was dealing with something else. Believe me, guys, I walked towards those individuals. I walked towards those individuals, and I was going to start a fight. But when I reached the vicinity, I noticed that actually this particular individual, the new supply, the new boyfriend, was even puzzled. It's like the new boyfriend was not really the new boyfriend was not really the problem. I figured out that the new boyfriend wasn't the problem, because even the new boyfriend was surprised in that time. But believe me, guys, because of the situation that the narcissist had put me in, I was ready to fight. So I was going to start up some kind of a fight, and later on I would notice that actually that fight would later on cause me a lot of problems. On top of that situation, now I was going to look like the crazy one, the stupid one, the aggressive one. You know what I mean? If people see me fighting in the street, or let's say, for example, I meet those guys by some chance, and I just go into fight there because I see my wife cheating on me. People will come around and they will not know what is going on. They will think that, oh, I'm the one who is interrupting those couples, and my partner now, my ex now, would be able to point fingers. He's the crazy one. You know, I did this, I did that. So in that moment, I will look the bad one. I will look like I'm the bad one. But many people will not understand what I've been facing for the last couple of years. You see, a lot of people don't understand what abuse looks like. When we're talking about abuse, emotional abuse, especially with narcissism and everything, a lot of people don't understand the dynamics of this kind of marriages and relationships. It's very, very dangerous, people. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. When you get entangled with a Jezebel, it will take God's intervention to break that bond. Let me repeat this. When you get entangled with a Jezebel, it is going to take God's intervention to break you out of that bond. It is going to be very, very difficult. You are going to fight. Many people have been fighting for even 20 years to break out of that bond. And believe me, when you're entangled with a Jezebel, it is the Jezebel now who is pushing the buttons. So you have no power over anything that is going on in that entanglement. I've told you again, it does not matter whether you're the president of the United States. It doesn't matter whether you're president of which country. When you're entangled with the Jezebel, guys, it's game over. It is going to take God's intervention to break you out of that bond. It is going to be very difficult. So I've been there. So a lot of guys don't understand that men go through abuse. But very few men are able to come out and talk about it. Because a lot of men, you remember now, let's talk about the men who are in Hollywood. I've always told you guys in Hollywood, a lot of these Hollywood stars and celebrities, they are entangled with Jezebels. A lot of them. They're not coming out to talk because of the position they hold in the industry. So they're not able to come out and speak publicly about it, but a lot of them, I can guarantee you, that they're entangled with Jezebels at home. So in the cameras, in front of the media and the cameras and everything, they're going to come out and they will show you that everything is okay. You know? They will come out and show you that everything is okay. But when you go back to their home and sit with them, they're going to tell you something else is happening in their houses. Guys, I can guarantee you, anybody who is entangled with the Jezebel and they are broken out of that bond, they will come in this video and they will comment in the comment section below, and they will know what I'm talking about. It is the Jezebel pushing the buttons. That particular individual, whether how big you are, it doesn't matter what kind of status you hold in the entire world. When you're entangled with those individuals, it's game over. So it's the Jezebel who takes over the buttons. They push the buttons. They will drive you to do things that you've never done before. Guys, I've told you in my video, me personally, for the very first time in my life, I was choosing to go and fight because I thought that somebody was with my wife. You know, somebody was involved with my wife. So I was choosing to go and fight. And later on, I would learn that actually, if I went on to fight, I would later on become very, very humiliated in that fight. Number one, and secondly, it is going to cause much more problems that even originally existed in that partnership. So they would end up now coming the police, and then this and that. A lot of things will be happening. And on top of that, we're talking about humiliation, because remember, these people, one of the agendas of these Jezebels, what they do, they make sure that they humiliate you in public, you know. So they will do something and they will twist your mind to do something that is going to make you get humiliated by the entire world. So you will find yourself getting extremely humiliated by the whole world. The place where I was going to have that fight, that was the place where we used to go and do our general shopping. You know what I mean? So it is a place that was known by the whole entire community around me, where we used to appear for shopping. That is the exact place where that particular individual, they were going with a new supply to do the shopping. That's where we met, and that's where the fight was going to happen. Now you can imagine the whole community. This incident happened twice, where I was going to get involved in the fight, because I didn't know that I was dealing with somebody extremely manipulative and extremely dangerous. So guys, when you're dealing with the Jezebel spirit, be very careful. In this video, Mr. S was publicly humiliated. You know, he came out and talked about, he came out and said, oh, you know, there's things that they do for love. You know, people come and do many things for love. Love can make you do crazy things. Let me tell you something. There's nothing like love can make you do crazy things. There's a difference between love and there's a difference between an entanglement. You can love somebody, but you can also get entangled with somebody. And most of the cases, the entanglements, they end up being called love. That is because you're in some kind of a situationship, you don't know how to get out of there, and you don't know how to come out. So you will sometimes do a lot of crazy things because you think you're in love. But before you know it, guys, and again I've said that it is going to take a very high level of consciousness and enlightenment to understand this video, because a lot of guys, they've come out, they said, oh, you know, this guy was the mask has slipped, you know, he's the narcissist. He came out and he showed us who he is. Guys, let me tell you something. There's a big possibility that particular individual is actually suffering behind closed doors. There is many things that particular individual is not talking about on camera, because those are, first of all, number one, those are celebrities, number one, and number two, those are people who have got an image to protect. So they will not come out and tell you exactly what is going on behind closed doors. It may be something going on between them and their therapists, if they, of course, definitely, well, they have one. So it may be something going on between them and their therapists and their, you know, whatever, if they're going to therapy, that is, or, you know, the psychology. The people who know them, they are like in the inner circle, their inner circle. But a lot of guys do not see what is going on camera. Let me tell you something. I remember seeing a video one time that was about, when was that incident? That incident happened a year ago or something. I saw another video about the entanglement of Mrs. J with somebody else. Was the name August or something like that? So I saw that video a bit. I saw the, you know, and you can imagine somebody speaking with his wife, somebody speaking with his with their partner on camera, and telling them on camera that they got entangled with somebody else on camera, a public figure, celebrity. They're talking about this entanglement on camera. Guys, let me tell you something. When you're dealing with Jezebel, many of you people don't understand how deep you can go with the Jezebel. You can go years. People, you can go even 25 years with the Jezebel. They will manipulate you. They will humiliate you in front of everybody, because remember, that's the agenda. To humiliate you and to break down your self-esteem and your personality and your identity in front of everybody around you. The whole world, the entire world, will start to look at you as crap when you're entangled with this kind of individuals. So it's a very dangerous situation, people, ladies and gentlemen. You can imagine somebody coming on camera on national television and publicizing their entanglement with somebody else, and then they are going to blame them. Me myself, when I was leaving the narcissist, I was starting to blame myself. You know what I mean? Because those individuals, what they do, they will go and get entangled with somebody else and sleep with somebody else. So when you catch up on them, they will now come and tell you that, oh, you know what? I went and cheated because it was your fault. You were not loving me enough. You know, something like this was going on at home. This and this was going on at home. So they'll go and get entangled. Then they'll come back and tell you that it's your fault. So when I saw that video, it was very disturbing, you know. And normally I don't really like to comment very deep about, you know, especially when you're talking about public figures. So I really like to, you know, protect other people, you know. So that's one of the things with the work that we do. So you have got to send out the message without actually destroying people's images. You know what I mean? But again, at the end of the day, in my opinion, I really think that that was a situation whereby somebody was actually humiliating their own partner, husband, on national television, that they got entangled with somebody else on camera. And then now they are saying, oh, you know, because in that time we had the problems, this and this. My narcissist got entangled with somebody else when we had problems. And then me personally, I went out and I said, okay, I'm going to go and have a, let's have a small break for each other to think about things, to weigh out things, and, you know, to get some space with each other. Me not knowing that I was going out to think about stuff, and the narcissist will later on go on in a few days and carry on sleeping with somebody else. So that's how dangerous it can get. And later on, when you catch up on them, they're going to turn around. They will come around and tell you that, oh, you know what? That was your problem. I went and slept with that man because it was your problem. Oh, there was no affection. There was no time. They will start giving all kinds of excuses. Those Jezebels, they want to always make sure that they run away from everything. They try to make sure that they run away. When you catch up on them, they start to run away and put all the blames on you. I remember myself blaming. I remember in those after the discard, when I caught up with the narcissist started all the nonsense. Oh, you know, it was your fault. It was your fault because this was your fault. Then I was thinking in my mind that, how is it my fault that somebody goes on to sleep with somebody else, and then it's all my fault because somebody goes on to sleep with somebody else and they blame the whole thing on me. Guys, you need to be very careful when you're dealing with this kind of individuals. You have to be very careful. So for me, in those days I was not awakened, so I didn't know anything about narcissism. I would later on learn when I awakened, I would later on learn when my bulbs went on and I switched. That's when I learned that actually I had always been dealing with a Jezebel. So guys, be very careful when it comes to narcissistic abuse. I understand a lot of people don't understand this. They don't know about Jezebels. They don't know about this narcissism. They don't know anything about emotional abuse. A lot of people, they just see things on TV. Somebody slapped. A lot of women came out. A lot of these Jezebels, they came out. Oh, I need a man like that. You know, they were shouting on social media. I need me a will. I need me a will. I need me a will. A lot of them. But very few people actually would look behind the veil to understand exactly where did that slap come from. So me, in my opinion, there's a tough situation going on behind Mr. Smith. There's a tough situation going on behind him, going on with his personal life, which I don't know because I don't want to go into the details. Me, I just read things according to what I see, what has been shown on TV and what I see. That is what I do to make. I used to make my judgment. So you don't have to make. You don't have to take my word for this. You can always do, guys. You can always do your research, and especially the guys who have been into narcissistic abuse and all these kind of things. You can do your research. You will know where I'm coming from, and you know what I'm talking about. You know. But me, in my opinion, I believe that there is abuse going on in this situation. So there is a toxic situation happening behind closed doors, which nobody is willing to talk about, of course, because these are celebrities that people we adore and we follow and everything. So you will not see them coming around and talking about this. But for the people who have been in this kind of situations, toxic situations and relationships, we know exactly how the patterns work. So we just read the patterns, you know what I mean? From the time of the entanglement, when they came out to speak about the entanglement on camera, until the time when that slap happened, actually, it was not somebody who was in their what do they call it? That slap happened, it was like a reflex, you know what I mean? Somebody just stands up all of a sudden after a very happy mood, couple of smiles and everything, then they just stand up all of a sudden and they go and slap the person on stage. There was somebody else pushing the button. So a lot of people don't understand that there was somebody else behind there pushing the buttons. You know what I mean? So that's my humble opinion. You guys can go ahead and do your research, but me, I just believe that there's abuse happening behind closed doors. You know what I mean? And now it's starting to show out. It's starting to get out in public. So this was like a signal. You know what I mean? So Mr. S, I would think that they were making a signal that there's something they are going through, that people actually would try to see. Only the people who understand will be able to see what is actually happening behind closed doors. You know what I mean? But I totally believe that there's a Jezebel involved, there is abuse involved, there is toxicity involved. That's why you see a lot of these humiliations going on and manipulations and everything. So, guys, anyhow, let me know what you think about this video in the comment section below. I'll get back to you in my next one. Much love and blessings. Those are signing out. And peace.